What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to be doing an oil change on this 2021 Ram 1500 5.7 liter Hemi. So without further ado, let's jump in and let's get it done. Okay, so as I just mentioned, this is a 2021 Ram 1500 5.7 liter Hemi. This does have the e-torque in it as well. And the oil filter here, let's just get it out of the box. This is the part number here. 0489239BE. Looking it up online, there are so many different oil filters used for the Ram 1500, depending on which engine size you have and what year it is. There are a ton of part numbers out there. So from what I was able to research, this was the recommended filter here. So we're gonna set that aside. I also have 7 quarts of the Valvoline Full Synthetic Advanced 5W20 motor oil. And if we come over here and see, just to confirm, it does take the 5W20 and it's listed right there in the oil cap. So the next thing we need to do is climb under the truck with an oil pan and start draining the oil. Now, this particular truck here has a 3.5-inch lift kit on 35-inch tires, which lifts the truck a little higher off the ground. So it's a little easier climbing under the truck to do this. However, if you happen to have a stock Ram 1500, getting underneath might be a little bit difficult. So you might have to jack the truck up on jack stands. Just make sure you're jacking it up with jack stands evenly front to back so that your truck is sitting level. You don't want to drain your oil if your truck's sitting high in the front and low in the back. So let me get my oil pan ready. Let's climb underneath and let's get this oil drained. Okay, so before we get started, let's go up here and loosen up our oil cap here. By loosening your oil cap first, this will allow some air in the system. So when you're draining the oil out the bottom, if you don't take your cap out, it will still drain. It just won't drain as good or as fast. But if you just loosen up your oil cap at the top, just set it over the hole like that, it'll drain a lot better. Okay, so we're under the truck. And again, it is a little bit tight under here. So again, if your truck is still sitting at a stock height, you definitely might want to consider jacking it up a little bit. But we're under the truck and we have our oil pan sitting right under here. And here is your oil drain plug right here. So all you need is a 1/2-inch socket or wrench, whatever works best for you. And just be aware, you're gonna have to adjust your pan back a little bit because once you pull this plug, that oil is probably gonna squirt out a good bit further. So you might have to kind of adjust your pan a little bit to catch that oil. But let's go ahead and take our socket and let's go ahead and start loosening up. Okay, so I just went ahead and cracked open the oil drain plug here. So I have my oil pan sitting directly under here to catch it. So what I'm doing now is unthreading the oil plug by hand, but I'm putting pressure on it, pushing it towards the oil pan here so that it doesn't shoot out at me, okay? And I'll show you why I do that in a second. So we're pretty much ready to pull the plug. So now, holding it with one hand, I can hold my oil pan with the other and adjust where I need to put my pan accordingly. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull the plug now. Okay, just like that. So now we have our oil plug taken out just like this. We'll go ahead and wipe that off with a paper towel here shortly. So we're just gonna let that drain for probably about a good 5, maybe 10 minutes. When that starts draining at a very slow drip, then we'll be ready to put our plug back in. So I'll be back in a few minutes when it's all done draining. Wipe this off a little bit here, and then go ahead and put your oil plug back in, just like that. You're gonna wanna tighten it down, but do not go crazy and over tighten it like some monster. Just make it nice and tight. Okay. Okay, so once you do that, you can go ahead and take your paper towel, wipe all this off, and you should be good to go. Now we're just gonna slide our pan forward because we're gonna have to come up under the front of the truck to access where the oil filter is so that we can get that out. So let's go do that next. Okay, so looking down from the top of the engine bay here, again, I'm on the passenger side. If we look down below, right there is our oil filter. So it is visible from up top. It's just not going to be easy to get it from the top. So we'll climb underneath the truck and I'll show you where it is. Okay, so there's not a lot of room under here for myself, an oil pan, and a camera to fit, but I'm gonna do my best. Okay, so right there is our oil filter. So there is a harness right here that I unplugged. It's right here. I just basically unplugged it from there just so I could take that harness and kind of slide it out of the way so that I have a little bit more room to work with up here. So now what we have to do is go up here with a set of oil pliers and loosen up that oil filter and keep your oil pan below it because there might be some oil still draining out from where that filter is. So once you get that filter out, then we'll go ahead and put the new one in. So let me go grab my pliers and let's get that filter out. Okay, so I have my oil pan sitting on the ground right below the filter, and we're on the front of the truck here, in front of the cross member here. So what I'm gonna do is try to reach up right from the front to get access with my oil pliers here to get that oil filter loosened up. So I'm gonna try it this way because I really can't get my camera any closer underneath because then I'm just gonna have oil pouring all over my camera. Again, Rams put their oil filters in the toughest places to get them, so we're just gonna have to work with what we got. Okay, so I got it loosened up. Sorry, I have oil everywhere, so just is what it is. There's really no clean way to change the oil on a Ram. I almost have it. Okay. So I got the oil filter out. As you can see here, I have my oil pan on the ground, just below the oil filter nozzle up here. So we got that oil filter off. So I'm just letting it drain out some of that residual oil a little bit more. But once it gets down to a very, very slow drip, I'm gonna go back up there with a paper towel, wipe off that nozzle a little bit, and then we're gonna get our new filter installed back on. So let's let that drain for another minute or so, and we'll be right back. Okay, so we have the old filter right here. This is the one I took off the truck. Again, this is what the dealership put on. So this doesn't even look like a OEM Mopar filter, but it's what the dealership used. So we look here on the bottom, it says M22. If we take the new filter from Mopar, this also has an M22 right there. So the threads are probably the same. Side by side, you can see they're basically the same size filter. So let's go ahead, put a little bit of oil on our finger, and we're gonna rub some oil on the actual gasket here of the new filter. All right, now I just have to climb underneath the truck and thread that back in, and we'll be good. So let me go do that, I'll be right back. Okay, so if you come under here and look from the back side, the filter is installed, everything fits, everything's nice and tight. And again, you only want that to be hand tight. So dry your hands off with some paper towels, go wash them if you have to, wipe off the filter with a towel if you have to, but make sure you're getting a good grip and you're tightening it down really tight by hand. Once you do that, you're all good to go. Now all I have to do is hook up my harness. And again, you do not need to take this harness out to do the oil change. I just disconnected this harness because with the harness attached, it would block the view of the camera of the oil filter. And again, the back of the harness is simple. It has this little red slide tab that you can slide back and forth, but you have to pull the red tab back to access that little push button right there, to push that button in to release it. So I'm just gonna slide it back on and push my red tab all the way back in and lock it in, and we're good to go. I'm then gonna take this plug right here and plug it back into there, and take that upper plug up here where my finger is and plug it back into the frame, and now we are good to go. But as you can see, we're all set and we're all good to go. Okay, so now we're gonna take our cap, move it out of the way, put our oil funnel in, and now we can just start taking our new oil, pouring it back in. So again, the 5th gen Ram 1500 5.7 Hemi, it calls for 7 quarts. Okay, so I went ahead and we poured in all 7 quarts of the new fresh oil, and we got our cap reinstalled. Now we just have to come into the truck. So we're just gonna go ahead and hit the start button without our foot on the brake. Okay, so we're gonna let everything kind of just wake up a little bit here. Okay, so now that we woke the truck up, hitting the start button, again, not starting the truck, we're just gonna bounce through some of our menus here. So again, right now, if we go to the vehicle info, and scroll over. We just have to find where the oil filter is. Oil life right there. Okay, so now at this point, all you have to do is hold in the OK button, which we're going to do now. Okay, we're good. We're all good. So now we just went ahead and reset our oil filter and we're good to go. So now we can back out of that. Okay, at this point, now we can put our foot on the brake, start up the truck, and we're good to go. Everything's running pretty good. Let's come underneath. We're looking for any kind of oil drips, which I don't see any. So we seem to be pretty good. So it looks like we're pretty good. I don't see any oil leaking anywhere, so the filter must be on there pretty good. But if you do see any oil dripping, your oil filter might not be on tight enough, so go back under there and try to tighten it a little bit more. But as long as everything's running and you do not have any oil leaking, you're good to go. Okay, and then when I'm all done changing the oil, what I'll do is I'll take my oil pan that has a funnel, and I use this funnel here to basically fill up all of the empty oil containers with the old dirty oil, and then I'll just take these oil containers to my local garage where they could dispose of it properly. So that's basically what I do to get rid of the old oil. Okay, so we're all done. So we went ahead and we changed the oil on this 2021 Ram 1500 5.7 liter Hemi V8. And overall, it's really not that hard to do. But again, changing your oil yourself at home is going to save you some money. Because again, you could buy the parts cheaper online yourself, and you don't have to waste any gas money driving to the dealership and waiting a half a day or a full day just to pay them to change your oil. So if you have the capabilities to do so, and you're looking to save some money, I highly recommend just changing your oil yourself. But that's going to be it for today's video. I hope this video helps some of you out. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button and like this video. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comment section and I'll get back to you when I can. And also do me a favor, subscribe to the channel because it definitely helps me out and I greatly appreciate it. So that's it. I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you. Thank you. I truly appreciate you all. And as always, see you in the next video.